Hi, I'm Chuck, KK6USY. Welcome to Ham Radio Adventures. Today we're going to look at a new radio that, well, it's been out a while, but it's on its second generation and maybe 2.1 on that. That's the Tidradio H-8. Now this is supposedly a 10 watt radio. It's pretty good for an HT, and we'll test that later. Make sure you stick around to the end, and I'll show you whether it does make the 10 watts or not. And towards the end of the video, I'll give you a link to a video of a friend of mine who tests this to make sure that it is FCC approved, at least on the scope. So this radio has a pretty, what do you want to say, maybe a lot of drama around it. Some people were having problems with the second generation, maybe burning. They were saying they were getting heat burns, or maybe not burning them, but getting really hot in the battery and stuff. I didn't notice that with mine, but I did get the first version from Tidradio, and I basically contacted them because it made some weird noises. I told them I don't want to do a video on a radio that's that bad, and they asked me not to, and I didn't. All I did do, and I'll link that in the description below also, is a video on a workaround on that particular radio. Now they sent me a new radio, and this radio has a different firmware and stuff. I don't know what they did to fix it, but we're going to test it today to see if it's fixed. And overall, I think it's a pretty good radio, and at least Tidradio did make the efforts to fix it if they did get it fixed. So let's go ahead and check it out. I'm going to do an overhead of it, unboxing of what it came with. Unfortunately, I can't find the book for it anymore, guys, but okay, let's get started. This is the first radio I got. This is the first second gen radio, the one I had problems with. And I basically just contacted Tidradio and said, hey, I don't think you want me to do a video on this because it's not right. And they asked me not to, and all I did was I did a little workaround video on it. So there's the way the box comes. The batteries, I'm actually charging the battery for some tests later. So it would have been in here also. Let me just pull the rest of the stuff out that it came with. It came with this card, and this has a user manual. You can download program software, product video, operation video, and it just it just tells you where to get it, all that info. Came with the antenna. This is the antenna that comes in this particular kit. I think one of the other kits, if you buy the upgraded kit, it comes with a longer antenna. Supposed to give you a little more gain. Came with this charging unit. I haven't used it actually. I've been using the ones I already had. This is a USB-C charger, and that will hook into this. And I haven't used this either because I used the USB charging. We'll show that to you a little bit, but it hooks in the back here. Has a little wrist strap for you if you want to use that. I don't usually use that. Has the belt clip. The belt clip actually goes on the back of the radio. A lot of times I don't use that either. Unless I want to clip it to like a backpack or something, then I'll throw it on. It also came with a manual, pretty well written. But in the process of getting the radio that I'm going to review today, I can't find it. But it was pretty well written, guys. Not your usual conversion from Chinese to English. It was pretty good. All right. And oh, yeah. And then here's the radio. This one doesn't have a battery. I've marked the back of this one with this little circle here just to let me know this is the radio that's not working right. Okay. We're going to do a power output and see if this thing really does 10 watts. It's a pretty nice radio. The screen on this is really pretty nice. It's other than the original problems, it was a pretty nice radio. And I'll link a video from the Smoking Ape here for you guys that shows this radio is pretty clean. I told you guys I had kind of a workaround. And what I was doing was just taking this. This is a K1, I think they call it, a Kenwood connector. Most of your Baofengs and all your Chinese radios use the same connector for programming and for external mics. Now, when you hook this external mic, I'll show you in a little bit once I throw the battery in it. I only have one battery, guys. They sent me a new radio. It was just like you see this. Nothing else came with it. So I only have the one battery. But when you use the push to talk on this, it didn't make the noise. And that was kind of a workaround. not the best thing, but I do a lot of dirt bike riding, and sometimes we run these radios, and I'm thinking, well, this is the perfect radio because if I break it, oh well. All right, guys. So as you can see, it has a really nice screen. But what we're going to do is we're going to show you the problem with the original one that I had. If you listen real carefully, and I'll move the mic a little closer for you. When you press the push to talk, you get that noise, and that noise goes out through over the air. All right. But what I was doing, and the only reason I could have used this on my motorcycle would have been that I put this in here, and then when you key it now, KK6 USY testing, it works fine. All right. So I just want to show that to you guys. Let's go ahead. Let me set this thing up and we'll do a power test on this radio. Okay, guys? In fact, I'll keep this in there so it doesn't make the noise. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll try to, if it needs it, I'll bring it in closer. But this is for the frequency. It lets you know if it's on frequency. So 146.520, 146.520. So that's a pass. So it's good there. This is the original one I got that has the problems. This is the power output, and this battery is almost charged. I don't think it's totally charged. It shows charged, but it was still taking charge. 11.6 watts, 11.8. So that's pretty good, guys. They advertise 10, and it's doing a little bit better. All right, that's it. This is the old radio. All right, let's move on to the new radio now. Okay, guys, let's just go through this thing. Let me turn it off, and we'll cycle it on. Here we go. Yeah, it comes with your antenna. You have your light up on top here. This is a button here. This is a alarm button if you need it. The orange button here. Press it. And to get rid of it, you just hit the push to talk button. On the side, we have the push to talk button. We have this button here, which operates the light. Okay. If you hold it down, it gets rid of the squelch. You're having a hard time hearing that distance station. If you push this one, it goes to FM radio. The FM radio was pretty good on this. My reception in this place here is not very good. Click it again to go out. If you hold it down, you get the weather channels, and then you can toggle through them with the up and down buttons. All right. And hit it again. Oh, you got to hold it down, and it takes it out. On the other side, you have your K1. This is for programming, or for, like I showed you earlier, or sometime in this video, an external mic. You can do the earpiece mic, whatever you want. So that takes care of the sides. Like I showed you the button up here for the alarm. This is your on and off button and volume. On the top, you have your VFO or memory channels.
Frequency mode.
So there's your frequency modes. That's so you can adjust it on the front panel.
Channel mode.
Your channel mode.
Channel mode.
And it does channel mode twice for some reason. This BL is Bluetooth. Now I didn't really use the Bluetooth. It's made so you can program the radio. Pretty cool feature if that's what you're into. I actually just use Chirp, and it works really good on Chirp. Now there's 3 versions of this radio if you do use Chirp. This is the ham version. It also has a GMRS version. Then it has a world. We'll just call it a world version. Okay. And when you go to Chirp, you need to pick which one it is, or otherwise it won't recognize it. In the menu, this is 0, so it goes 0 to, let's go down, 45. Now this is the ham version, it says right here, and it's 8 of 23, 23, 8, 23, 23. If you look at the Smoking Apes video, his was actually an earlier version than this, so this has been even updated from the one he did with the spurious emissions. And you guys have to watch his video, and I will say that it does really well. He was very impressed with it. It takes a lot to impress Ape on how clean the radios are. All right. So what else did I show you? Also, when you're in the menu here, if you know, say you want to go to menu 12, you just
Menu.
You get in the menu, push 1, 2, and it takes you to 12. Or you want to go into 33, it takes you to 33. And 33 is a good one to learn, guys. If you happen to reset this radio, as if it's like the other radios, I'm not sure if I did this one, it'll go to Chinese. So you need to know where 33 is so you can get it back to English. Let's see. On the back here, it has your charging ports. Let me just turn it off, and I want to take this antenna off so I can turn it upside down for you guys. Now, on the back of the battery, if you guys see right here, let me make sure it's okay. On the back of the battery, if you see right here, this is a USB-C port. This is how I charge it, and this should be on all these HDs really, because you almost always have a charging cord like that. I have multiple for all my microphones and everything. Okay. When you do plug it in, it has a light here that comes on to let you know it goes from red to green when it's charged. Now take the battery off. I watched a video the other day where the guy couldn't get this off. It's tight, but it's not that hard to do. It also has the cradle, guys. You charge it through the cradle, and that's what these ports are for. And people were having problems with this heating up here on the original second generation. I didn't have that problem. Mine felt like it got warm in the body at one time when I was using it, but I didn't have that major problem there. And it just pops out like this. It has a 2500 amp hour battery, and that's probably about right. You have all your FCC stuff inside, and I can compare this because we don't need a battery. And let's see, it looks pretty good there. Let's see, it has a totally different number on the number down the bottom there. See, the FCC ID is the same. Everything else is the same. One of the things that I always get, this has a dummy load, guys, built in, so I'm not ruining the radio here. Okay, so we're on the frequency again. It should pass this test. 146,520, perfect. And like I said, this battery is almost charged, not totally, but pretty close. And this is the power, 11 watts, 10.9. So as advertised, it does put out what it says. Okay, so we're on 446,000, and that's the calling frequency. Let's just let's see how the frequency comes up. 446,000. So that's good. Let's go to the output. Now, usually 70 centimeters does not put out as much, but let's just see what this does. I forget. So 8.8, over 8.5 watts. So that's pretty good too. So I would take that for the 70 centimeters, usually not as high. This is the audio from a FT70 into the TH-8. Testing 1, 2, 3, KK6USY testing. This is the audio from the Tidradio TH-8. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4 into the FT70. KK6USY testing. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, this is a pretty good radio, and I have to give it to Tidradio. They actually went in and fixed the radio, and they listened to the multiple YouTubers that just basically bashed the radio because it wasn't right. They shouldn't have put it out the way it was. Maybe some got through that weren't right. I don't know. Not everybody had the same problems, but at least they made it right. So if you got something out of this video, go ahead and hit that like. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit all. That way you get all my future videos. I'm Chuck, KK6USY for Ham Radio Adventures, 73 all, and I hope to get you guys on the airwaves.